Do you have mentally weak friends? What if you're the mentally weak friend? Well, let's find out, shall we? Here are 15 signs you're mentally weak. Welcome to Alux, the place where future billionaires come to get inspired. First up, you internalize any negative statements other people make. They define who you are and how you feel. You let them do it willingly. You can't stand up for yourself, so you take it all in. You keep reliving the conversations in your head and fantasize about what you should have said so you would have come out on top. Everyone else tells you you're mentally weak, and you believe them. The fact that you're not doing anything to change that perception just proves the point. In casual conversations, you laugh nervously when others talk. You blurt out nonsense and then spend the rest of the week beating yourself up about, why did I say that? And this isn't something new for you. You suppress emotions and allow negative experiences to live rent-free in your mind. You still remember how someone triggered you in middle school, but more on that in number 4 on the list. It's never your fault, right? You're constantly deflecting. You're just a little victim in everything. There was nothing you could have done to change the outcome, right? You're the kind of person that can't admit to your mistakes or take responsibility for your actions. Heck, you're unable or unwilling to take responsibility in general. You're defensive, you can't take criticism, and your only counterargument has to do exclusively with your experience. You simply don't have the ability to look at reality objectively or put yourself in someone else's shoes. You worry all the freaking time. You overthink everything all the same. Life scares you. Some things keep you up at night. And this is the result of your inability to predict how life will unfold and the lack of belief that you'll be able to figure it out. Because figuring it out is a trait exclusively shared by mentally strong people. We broke this down in our video 15 Signs You're Mentally Strong. Watch it after this one because they go hand in hand. But those don't apply to you, you're actually the opposite. You've lived your entire life trying to avoid any type of immediate pain, be it physical or emotional, regardless of the longer-term consequences. The past haunts you. Do you know the phrase, once a loser, always a loser? The magical thing about this phrase is that it's true if you believe it to be true, and you, my friend, couldn't agree more, huh? The past solidified a lens you now use to look at everything in the world. You believe the girl you deeply loved left you for someone with more money or someone cooler, so now you hate the rich or those who take care of themselves. It never occurred to you that maybe you lacked the personality, that you didn't put in much effort to keep the relationship going. You're still checking their profile online frequently, only to see that they're living a happy life and have completely forgotten about you. You remember every piece of public embarrassment, every public failure you've ever had, and every comment that struck a chord with you. You consume mental junk food. They say you are what you eat. A better way of putting that is you are what you consume. We know the effects of fast food and sugar on your body. You get fat, physically weak, your ability to enjoy life dramatically goes down. And the same thing happens with your mind when you watch Too Hot to Handle or Love Island all the time. Social media is poisoning your mind. You're listening to this with your phone in your hand scrolling, aren't you? You're vitamin D deficient. You spend your days in front of blue screens and white neon lights. Same as your body atrophies when you feed it junk, your brain is turning into gray mush. For some, it's reality TV. For others, it's Russian models on Instagram or weird subreddits. You listen to podcasts but barely recall anything. Your screen time shows hours upon hours on platforms like TikTok. The problem with TikTok is it not only shortens your attention span, but it's misleading. What you're getting is surface-level info that gives off the illusion of depth. It makes you feel like you're learning, but you're not. You get a peek at surface-level therapy, surface-level stories, surface-level advice, and surface-level living. None of it actually helps to make a real change in your life. It's all packaging and no substance. The antidote to this is to start your day with something short but deep. You don't have to listen to 3-hour podcasts just to get 15 minutes of actual value, and reading a chapter of a book isn't as user-friendly if you're on the go. As far as we know, there's only one app specifically designed to accelerate your progress in life. If you're tired of waiting for change to suddenly happen in your life, go to Alux.com/app and download it. It's a free download and you get a 7-day free trial on us. We'll take your brain to the gym and guide you on the most valuable 15 minutes of your day. You are passive-aggressive and a sore loser. You avoid conflict even when conflict is the only way for you to make progress in life. People know this, and they take advantage of you. You know this, and you still let them. You don't know how to disagree gracefully. You're unable to verbalize what you want because you don't know what you want. You don't know how to admit when you're wrong. You'd rather sit there in silence and badmouth the result when no one else can hear you. Statistically, you're scoring low in emotional intelligence and most likely low in IQ as well. You say you want to win, but you lack the skills or the drive to do it. You're over 30, and you haven't matured yet. Your worth is determined by other people. Since you don't think you carry any real intrinsic value, you just accept the price society puts on your head. You feel replaceable. You're trying to crowdsource your worth and only value yourself in comparison to others. Since this is true for you, you never really are able to negotiate in your favor. You have a hard ceiling that you've put in place, and it's one of the most painful ways to go through life. A self-designed cage where all the hurt can get in, but you can't get out. You are dependent on others for happiness. You need approval. You need others to give you the proverbial good boy, good girl kind of talk. You're unable to say no out of fear of disappointing others. You're emotionally dependent and scared they'll leave you. You are toxic in that regard because you're scared of being alone. With you, everything is an ultimatum. You're willing to risk entire relationships over the smallest, most unimportant stuff. You throw tantrums like a little child. You walk away just so they have to run after you. You cause drama just to make yourself feel something. And when you do that, you actually give away your power because once people realize just how much you seek validation and how you tied it to your happiness and sense of worth, they'll A, abuse it, or B, run from it because nobody wants to carry that burden. You default to, it's not gonna work out, shouldn't try. Emotionally weak people always have no as their default answer. They never see potential, all they see are roadblocks. You're so scared of failure you won't dare to take a chance. But taking chances is how you grow, but you still don't. You bring down the mood of every room you're in. You'll always be a follower. You're the hater, the doubter, but you don't mind enjoying the spoils of other people's courage. Deep down, this bothers you because they made it work when you said it couldn't be done. Society rewards results over opinion. Even if you're right, unless you can provide an alternative that helps, you're not adding any value to the table. Pro tip here, replace "this isn't gonna work" with "if we want this to work, this is a much better way to do it. Here, let me show you." You can't motivate yourself to do what you know you should be doing. Emotionally weak individuals have little to no control over the little voice in their head. That's why they do things impulsively. The impulse will always prioritize the present over the future. Sit on the couch instead of working out. Shove Cheetos, ice cream, and soda into your mouth hole. It tastes good, but there's a lingering flavor of regret with every bite. You have a book sitting on your shelf for over 2 years that you're definitely getting back to. And you've got a project that you're getting back to after you finish the book. You always said you'll find some time to figure yourself out and get healthy. You say you're gonna do things, but you just don't do them. The biggest hack in life is doing things you don't have to do, just because they make you better. You don't have to work the extra hours in your business, but you do it because it pays off. You don't have to go to the gym when it rains, but you do it anyway. You don't have to do anything, okay? But all the progress you'll ever make in life will come from doing things you don't have to do, but that still benefits you. That is how you win. We don't have to make these videos and you don't have to watch them, but both of us decided to work on a Sunday because it adds value to both of our lives. That's not weak mentality behavior. Over 4 million people subscribe to the channel because we drop gems with every video, and all we ask in return is that you subscribe as well. You break down under pressure. You're easily overwhelmed. You procrastinate until the last minute and then you realize you're unable to deliver on the promises you've made. You complain about how much pressure there is to perform, to deliver, to make something of yourself, but you waste most of your days. You don't do very much, do you? You're lazy and the world right now is not fit for that. This is what's eating at you from the inside. They say pressure makes diamonds, but you're okay with never shining. You find it hard to process complex emotions. You'd rather be somewhere else than to deal with the problems in your life. You wish they would all magically just go away. Guess what? They won't. The only way out is through. You have a hard time making decisions. If it takes you more time to pick what you want to eat or what you want to watch than it takes for the food to get to you, you've got a problem. You're going through a quarter-life crisis right now and questioning what the hell you should be doing with your life, but that's a topic for another video. You don't know what to do. You're confused. You fantasize about all the things you want to do but can't decide if you'd actually want to do any of them. Your entire life is nothing more than a series of decisions, okay? Not being able to make decisions either freezes you where you are in life or grants others the right to decide on your behalf. You use humor or escapism to avoid problems. You avoid anything that carries depth. You can't be truly vulnerable because the last time you opened up, you got hurt badly. Maybe it was your childhood where you had to diffuse a drunk parent with humor, or maybe you used it as a shield to mask your lack of real skills and others did the task for you. Or maybe it's a combination of both. You coast on humor. You were a class clown and people still see you as a clown. They don't take you seriously and you resent them for it. But there's another realm where you are taken seriously, where you are someone where people know you, or at least reality doesn't bother you as much. You live inside the video game world, inside reruns of old TV shows, taking breaks just to go to the fridge or to pleasure yourself. Some of you need additional help to tune the world out, so you're a slave to substances. You overreact to shit. You're unpredictable, okay? You're triggered by this video and you're probably already left. You don't like it when people call you out. We tell you the truth and you act like we slapped your mother or something. If overreacting were a sport, you'd be in the emotional Olympics. You make things seem like a bigger deal than they are, and mostly the negative stuff. You know ahead of time that you'll get angry or bothered by something. You label everyone before you meet them. If it doesn't align with your agenda, you see it as a personal attack. You have a black belt in jumping to conclusions. You read between the lines even if there's nothing in between the lines. You always assume there's more to it, and you're in your feelings a lot. Other people are uneasy around you, and they can't be themselves. And lastly, you don't know how to apologize and change your behavior. You're in one of the extremes. You either don't apologize at all, or you apologize so much that people realize you never mean it. Here's something for you to remember. An unmeant apology is a second insult. Changed behavior is a sign of intelligence, a sign of progress, be it personal or professional. Your words don't mean anything without a change in behavior. This is probably the classiest way somebody ever called you dumb, but don't take it personally because it isn't. Our entire goal here is to help you get better at this. So here's how you actually apologize. A real effective apology has 3 parts. 1, acknowledge how your action affected the person. 2, say you're sorry. And 3, describe what you're going to do to make it right or to make sure it doesn't happen again. Don't excuse or explain. If you're explaining, you're losing. Apologies are not meant to showcase your point of view or to make you get out of the situation without any sort of repercussion. And after you do this, go ahead and actually live up to your word. Now, you've met a lot of people in your life, so what would you add to this list? Let us know in the comments. And since you stuck with us to the very end, as a bonus, we saved up a template for the worst kind of apology. Are you ready for this? The worst apologies in the world have 4 distinctive parts, and at least once in your life somebody did this to you and you were left speechless. Okay, here are the 4 parts. First, explain how it's not your fault at all. Second, flip it on the other person as being too demanding, too selfish, or too sensitive. If that doesn't work for you, hey, pivot away from the issue altogether and then complain about something totally irrelevant. Third, you deny you always do this and lie that you're not the kind of person who would ever do something like that. And fourth, demand an apology for the personal attack, becoming increasingly upset until you get what you want. At the end, exaggerate your reaction, throw your hands up in the air and say something ridiculous like you're the worst person in the universe that's incapable of doing anything right and you shouldn't do it anymore. You walk away upset and scene. Have you ever experienced anything like that, Aluxer? Someone clearly at fault trying to flip it onto you? If you did, write the word flip in the comments. We'll see you back here next time, my friend. Take care.